a sacred moment. It's the moment before the moment, the breath before the leap, the stillness before you step out of the place that has shaped you and into the world that waits to be shaped by you. Graduating class of 2025, this is not just a ceremony, it's the start of something new, a calling forth of everything that's been planted in you, faith, resilience, character, dreams, and a reminder that you are made for more than success, you are made for purpose. Let's begin with one of the most powerful verses about young people stepping into something new, and it comes from the book of Jeremiah. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not harm you, plans to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 29:11. You've probably heard that verse before. Maybe it was on a graduation card or a coffee mug, but don't let it go in one ear and out the other. Listen closely. It says God knows the plans, which means sometimes you won't, and that's okay. It doesn't say the path will always be straight or easy or predictable. It says there is a plan, there is a future, and there is hope. But first, you've got to walk through the unknown. The first point I'm going to touch on is you are planted, not buried. Some of you have walked through darkness in your high school years. Maybe it was a tough loss, an injury, a broken friendship, the pressure to be perfect, or a feeling that you never quite measured up. And sometimes in life, darkness feels like a burial, like you're stuck underground, hidden and forgotten. But hear me tonight, you weren't buried, you were planted. And what happens when something is planted? It grows. It reaches, it stretches, it breaks through the surface toward light. So if you've had hard seasons, remember this: God uses pain to prepare, He uses delay to develop, He uses difficulty to deepen our roots. You are not behind, you are being built. And when the time is right, the very thing that looked like your ending will become your foundation. Point number 2 is God is not looking for perfect, He's looking for present. There's so much pressure in the world you're entering, to know your 5-year plan, to have it all together, to climb the ladder, build a brand, stay on top of everything. But God doesn't ask you to be perfect, He asks you to be present. Present to the people around you, present to the needs in your community, present to the voice of God in your life. When Jesus called His disciples, He didn't choose the smartest or most popular or most polished. He chose people who showed up, people willing to follow even when they didn't have all of the answers. You don't need to know every step, you just need to say yes to the next right one. Point number 3 is your identity is greater than your title. In this season, you'll wear a lot of new titles: college freshman, intern, employee, maybe eventually spouse, parent, or boss. But don't confuse your title with your identity. Your identity is not what you do, it's whose you are. You are a child of God, called, chosen, and enough. And that truth will anchor you when things get loud, when comparison creeps in, when anxiety says you're falling behind. The world may measure you by what you produce, but God sees you for who you are becoming. He's forming your character, not just your resume, and sometimes He'll let things fall apart, not to break you, but to break off everything that doesn't belong to you. Point number 4 is faith isn't always loud, sometimes it's just getting back up. We love stories of big faith, parting the sea, moving mountains, healing the sick, but do you know what real faith often looks like? Getting up the next day when you're tired, choosing integrity when no one is watching, walking away from what's easy to stand for, what's right, forgiving when it's easier to stay bitter. Faith isn't always fire, sometimes it's a whisper, and the whisper that's quiet, strength to keep going when things are hard is often the most powerful part of your story. Point number 5 is what you build will matter more than what you achieve. The world may try to tell you that the point of life is achievement, more degrees, more money, and more awards, but what will matter in the end is not what you earn, but what you build. Did you build relationships? Did you build up others? Did you build a life that reflects your faith, your values, and your heart? Jesus said in Matthew 7 that the wise person is the one who builds their house on the rock. Because when, not if, the storms come, the house still stands. So ask yourself tonight, what are you building your life on? Because your foundation will determine your future. My second to last point is the people you impact will outlive the things you accomplish. The most powerful part of your story won't be told in the headlines or the highlights. It'll be told in the quiet moments, the time you showed up for someone who is hurting, the time you listened, the time you encouraged, and the time you loved. You won't always see the seeds you plant, but they'll grow. Sometimes the greatest legacy you'll leave is not in what you do, but in who you raise, who you mentor, who you serve, and who you love. So don't rush through life chasing applause, walking through it with eyes open and arms ready to serve. And in closing, being a light. Graduates, the world needs light. It needs people who will shine kindness in a culture of cruelty, people who will bring clarity and confusion, people who will reflect love, truth, and justice. The light is already in you. Jesus said in Matthew 5:14, "You are the light of the world, a city on a hill that cannot be hidden. So don't hide, don't dim, don't shrink back. Step forward into the life you were made for." Tonight, I pray you remember this. You are planted with purpose. You are built for storms. You are anchored in truth. You are called to shine, and you are not alone. And the God who started something in you will finish it. Congratulations, class of 2025. Now go walk boldly into your next chapter. The world is waiting.